In this video, we will be solving the sums of applications of derivatives. The sums that I have taken are from the Maharashtra Government textbook, 12th Standard Mathematics Part 2, Exercise 2.1. Let's begin with the first sum. You need to find the equations of tangents and normals to the given curves at the given point. So for the first one, here's the given curve. And we need to find the equation of tangent at 0, 4. See, tangent is a straight line, and for writing the equation of a straight line, we need a point through which the line passes. So we know the point and we need the slope of that line. So here we need the slope of the tangent, and slope of tangent is always obtained by the derivative. So for the first sum, we will say that dy by dx, the derivative will be the derivative of x square, which is 2x, plus 2 times e power 2x, plus 2 times e power x, and the derivative of 2 will be 0. So we need the derivative at 0, 4, because we need the equation of tangent at 0, 4. So we put x equal to 0 and y equal to 4 in dy by dx. There's no y. So all we need to do is put x equal to 0, and that will give us dy by dx as 0 plus 2 into e power 0, that is 2 into 1, which is equal to 2. So the slope of tangent is going to be equal to 2. And finally the equation of tangent will be y minus 4 is equals to the slope, which is 2 into x minus 0. So the equation of tangent is going to be y is equals to 2x plus 4. And finally we go for equation of the normal. So for the normal, if the slope of tangent will be 2, the slope of normal is going to be equal to minus 1 upon 2. And finally the equation of normal will be written in this manner. Y minus, the normal also passes through this point because you are finding the normal at this point. So y minus 4 equals to minus 1 upon 2 into x minus 0. So that's the equation of the normal. We can take that 2 on the other side, so we will have 2y minus 8 equals to minus x. Take that x also on the left, so we have x plus 2y minus 8 equal to 0 as the equation of the normal, and here's where you have the equation of the tangent. Let's go ahead with the next question. So this is the curve, and you need the equation of tangent and normal at 2, 4. So the procedure remains the same. We need dy by dx, and to get dy by dx for such equations, we straight away start finding the derivative. So the derivative of x cube will be 3x square, the derivative of y cube will be 3y square, and dy by dx minus 9xy. So we will have minus 9, and the derivative of xy will be x dy by dx plus y is equal to 0. And now we will put x equal to 2 and y equal to 4 in this equation to get the value of dy by dx, that is the slope of tangent at 2, 4. So when we put x as 2, this becomes 3 into 4, which is 12. Plus when we put y as 4, this becomes 3 into 16, which is 48 dy by dx. I will write it as y dash so that I can write it up a little early. I can write it a little quickly and we can go ahead in a quicker manner. So x, we were putting it as 2. So when we expand it with the minus 9, we have minus 18 dy by dx, that is minus 18 y dash. And when we combine the two terms here, this becomes 30 y dash. Continuing further, we have minus 9y, but we were putting y as 4. So minus 9 into 4, that's going to give us minus 36 equal to 0. So 12 minus 36, that will be minus 24. It goes on the right, and we have 24 on the right, divided by 30. So 24 upon 30, that will be, that goes by 6. So we have 4 by 5. So the slope of tangent, which is dy by dx, is going to be 4 by 5. So the equation of tangent will be y minus 4 is equals to 4 by 5 into x minus 2. You can simplify that and get the final answer. I'll write the equation of the normal also in the same way, and I'll leave the simplification work up to you guys. So y minus 4 equals to, if that's the slope of your tangent, the slope of normal will be minus 5 by 4 into x minus 2. Because the point remains the same, it's only the slope that is going to be the negative reciprocal of 4 by 5. Because if the slope of tangent is 4 by 5, slope of normal is the negative reciprocal of it. Simplify the two equations to get the final equations of tangents and normals. And yeah, with that we go ahead with our third question. So with the third question, the things remain the same. We take a derivative of whatever has been given to us. So that will be 2x minus root 3. And in the bracket, we will have x dy by dx plus y plus 2y square. So the derivative for that will be plus 4y dy by dx. And on the right hand side, we will have equal to 0. Now in this expression itself, we will substitute the value of x as root 3 and y as 2 to get the value of dy by dx, that is slope of tangent at this particular point. So when we put x as root 2, we have 2 root 3. When we put x as root 3, we have 2 root 3 minus root 3 into, we have root 3 dy by dx, and we are putting y as 2, so we have plus 2 plus 4 into 2, that would be 8 dy by dx equal to 0. Now when we expand this entire bracket, we have minus 3 dy by dx, and here it will become minus 2 root 3. So 2 root 3 minus 2 root 3 gets cancelled, and we are finally left with minus 3 dy by dx plus 8 dy by dx. That gives us 5 dy by dx equal to 0, which tells us that when 5 goes on the right, dy by dx will be equal to 0. So the slope of tangent is going to be equal to 0, and finally the equation of tangent will be y minus 2 is equals to the slope, which is 0, into x minus root 3. So it doesn't matter whatever we write on the right hand side, it will be 0 only, and y equal to 2 is the final equation of your tangent. If y equal to 2 is the equation of your tangent, you need to understand that y equal to constant is going to be a horizontal line. So if this is your xy coordinate system, y equal to 2 is a line like this, and if this is your tangent, the normal will be a vertical line. And for a vertical line, or I can say for a line perpendicular to x-axis, the equation is going to be x equal to constant. And because the line passes through root 3 comma 2, equation of the normal is going to be x is equals to root 3. So here's the equation of your normal, and here's the equation of your tangent. And yeah, with that we go ahead with our fourth question. So the fourth question says that this is your equation, and you need the equation of tangent and normal at this point. So take a derivative. So we have 2 into x dy by dx plus y plus pi into cos y dy by dx, and on the right hand side it was a 2 pi, so on the right hand side we will have 0, and we will now put x as 1 and y as pi by 2 in the equation right here. So that will give us 2 into dy by dx plus y, which is pi by 2, plus pi, and we are putting y as pi by 2, so cos y is going to be 0. So we will have pi into 0 into dy by dx, which is as good as 0. So finally we have this, and when we expand the bracket, we have 2 times dy by dx plus pi equal to 0. So dy by dx is going to be equal to minus pi by 2, and that represents the slope of your tangent. So the equation of your tangent will be y minus pi by 2 is equals to minus pi by 2 into x minus 1. Simplify that to get the final equation. I'll just go ahead with the equation of the normal now. So y minus pi by 2 equal to, see, the point remains the same, but the slope of normal is going to change now. I mean, the slope for the required line, that is the normal, is going to change. So if the slope of tangent is minus pi by 2, the slope of normal is its negative reciprocal, that will be 2 by pi into x minus 1. So that gives you the equation of the normal, and this gives you the equation of your tangent. And yeah, with that we go ahead with the next question, that is the fifth one. Take a derivative yet again, so that's going to give you x into cos 2y into 2 dy by dx. Okay, on the right hand side, okay, no, it's just I've only applied u derivative of v, plus I have to apply v derivative of u. So plus I will have sine 2y. On the right hand side I will have y into minus sine 2x multiplied by 2, plus I will have cos 2x into dy by dx. So it's cos 2x into dy by dx. Okay, and we have to put x as pi by 4 and y as pi by 2. So when I put x as pi by 4, I will have pi by 4. I am putting y as pi by 2. So I will have pi by 4 cos pi, which is minus pi by 4, because cos pi will be minus 1, into 2 dy by dx. So that will make it pi by 2 and dy by dx, of course with a negative sign here. And then we have sine 2y. So when I put y as pi by 2, this becomes sine pi, which is equal to 0. On the right we will have sine 2x, which is sine pi by 2. So this will be minus 1 into 2, that is minus 2, into pi by 2. So that will be minus pi, which is your first term. And then you continue with this. So cos 2x, that's going to become cos pi by 2. So this term will be 0, and 0 into anything is going to give you a 0. So we have minus pi by 2 dy by dx as minus pi. Minus pi gets cancelled here and here, and that 2 goes on the right. giving you dy by dx as 2. So the slope of your tangent is going to be equal to 2. And finally, we write the equation of tangent and normal by the slope point form. So if the point is pi by 4 comma pi by 2, equation of the tangent will be y minus pi by 2 is equals to the slope of tangent, which is 2, into x minus pi by 4. And the equation of normal will be y minus pi by 2 equal to the negative reciprocal of this, which will be the slope of normal, into x minus pi by 4. Yeah, so that's the equation of your tangent and that's the equation of your normal. With that, we go ahead with the sixth one, where x has been given to us and y also has been given to us. So to get the equation of tangent, what we need is dy by dx. And because these are parametric equations, we will write dy by dx as dy by d theta upon dx by d theta. Dy by d theta, that's going to be minus 2 sine 2 theta, divided by dx by d theta, that's going to be cos theta. And when we put theta as pi by 6, so you put theta as pi by 6, this becomes sine pi by 3, which is root 3 by 2, into minus 2, that's going to give you a minus root 3 here. And in the denominator, it's cos pi by 6, which is root 3 by 2. So that root 3 by 2 cancels off the root 3 here, and the final evaluation of dy by dx is minus 2. So the slope of your tangent is minus 2, and the equation of your tangent will be y minus y1 equals to the slope into x minus x1. So now we don't know what x1 and y1 is, but we will get it when we put theta as pi by 6 in the equation of the curve itself. So if we want y1, when you put theta as pi by 6 here, it becomes cos pi by 3, which is 1 by 2. So y minus 1 by 2, that should be minus 2 into x minus, put a pi by 6 here, and yeah, sine theta will be sine pi by 6, which is again equal to 1 by 2. Simplify that to get the equation of your tangent, and the equation of your normal will similarly be y minus 1 by 2 equal to, the slope will be the negative reciprocal of this, which is 1 by 2 into x minus half. And that's the equation of your normal. Simplify that to get the proper linear equations in the form ax plus by plus c equal to 0. But like I said, I'm leaving that work up to you guys. And yeah, these are the equations of your tangents and normals for the sixth question. We are going ahead with the seventh one. So for the seventh one, we have these are parametric equations. So dy by dx will be written as dy by dt upon dx by dt. Derivative of y, that's going to be 1 minus 1 by root t. So you can consider that as t power minus half. The derivative will be minus half t power minus 3 by 2 divided by the derivative of x, that is going to be 1 upon 2 root t. And we are putting the value of t as 4. So we are going to have 1 plus half into, when I put t as 4 here, the root of 4 will be 2. And power minus 3 is going to give us a 1 upon 8. So we have in the numerator, okay, let's write the denominator also together. So we have root t, which is going to be root 4, which is 2. 2 into 2 will be 4, and that 4 is going to go to the numerator. Okay, let's add up the two terms here. So this is 1 plus 1 upon 16, that is 17 upon 16, multiplied by 4 is giving you a 17 upon 4. That 17 upon 4 is finally the slope of tangent at the given point. So the equation of tangent is going to be, okay, we need x1, y1 also, right? So we will have y minus y1 equals to m, which is 17 by 4 into x minus x1. And yeah, you put t as 4 right here. So x becomes root 4, which is 2. So here we are going to have x minus 2. You put a 4 here. So we have 4 minus 1 upon root 4. That is 4 minus 1 upon 2. That is what? 8 minus 1. So 7 divided by 2. And yeah, that's finally the equation of your tangent. And similarly, the equation of your normal will be y minus 7 by 2 equal to the negative reciprocal of this, which is minus 4 upon 17 into x minus 2. And yeah, that completes the first, that completes all the sub questions of the first question in this particular exercise. Let's go ahead with question number 2, where we are told to find the point on this curve where the tangent is perpendicular to the given line. If I am given this line, the slope of that line will be obtained by breaking it down to y equal to mx plus c. So we can rewrite the equation as y equal to minus 6x plus 5, the whole thing divided by 3. Yeah, so that's going to give us minus 2x plus 5 upon 3. So if I compare it with y equal to mx plus c, the value of m is going to be minus 2. So the slope of this line will be minus 2, but our tangent is perpendicular to this line. So for our tangent, the slope is going to be the negative reciprocal of minus 2. That is, the slope of our tangent is going to be equal to 1 by 2. But slope of tangent represents the value of dy by dx. So for this sum, we are told that dy by dx will be equal to 1 by 2. And try to take a derivative of this. We have 1 upon 2 root x minus 3 equal to 1 by 2. So 2 gets cancelled here and here, and we have root over x minus 3 equal to 1. So when we square it, we have x minus 3 equal to 1, and the value of x will be equal to 4. So the points on the curve are x equal to 4, and when you put x equal to 4 over here, you get y equal to 1. So the points on the curve are 4, 1, and yeah, that's the answer for the second question. Going ahead with the third one. In the third question, you are given a curve and you need to find the points on it where the tangents are parallel to this. Again, when you break it down to y equal to mx plus c, this becomes y equal to 3x plus 1. When you compare it with y equal to mx plus c, you have m as 3. And because the tangents are parallel to this line, the slope of tangent is going to be equal to 3. That is the slope of this line only. I mean, because the tangent is parallel to this line, the slope of tangent and the slope of this line will be equal. The slope of this line is 3, so the slope of tangent will be 3. And slope of tangent is, it represents the value of dy by dx. So dy by dx for this curve will be equal to 3 at the required points. And dy by dx for that curve will be 3x square minus 4x minus 1, which will be equal to 3. Take the 3 on the other side, you have 3x square minus 4x minus 4 equal to 0. So 3 into 4 will be minus 12. 3 into 4 will be 12, and two numbers whose subtraction gives you a 4. They are 6 and 2. So we will have 3x square minus 6x plus 2x minus 4 equal to 0. So try to factorize that. We have 3x. From here we are going to have a plus 2. And from here what we have taken out common is 3x, right? So we are left with x minus 2. Okay. So the value of x is either equal to minus 2 by 3 or the value of x will be equal to 2. When x will be minus 2 by 3, just put that here. So you have the value of y will be minus 2 by 3 cube, that is minus 8 by 27 minus 2 by 3 square, so that will be 4 by 9 into 2 will make it minus 8 by 9, and plus 2 by 3 is what you will have. So when you add it up, you have minus 8 minus 24, that's minus 32, minus 32 plus 18, so that's minus 14 divided by 27. And when you put x as 2 here, so that will be 8 minus 8 minus 2, so y will be minus 2. So the required points are minus 2 by 3 comma minus 14 by 27, and the other point is at x equal to 2, y is minus 2, so 2 comma minus 2. Yeah, that's how we are answering the third question. Let's continue with sum number 4. Find the equation of tangents to the given curve which are parallel to the x-axis. See, parallel to x-axis means the slope of tangent will be 0. So slope of tangent means dy by dx will be equal to 0. So for this curve, let's try to find the derivative. So we will have 2x plus 2y dy by dx minus 2 minus 4 dy by dx equal to 0. And like we just discussed, we have to put dy by dx as 0. So this term goes off. Even this term goes away, and we are left with 2x minus 2 equal to 0. So the value of x will be equal to 1. And if x will be equal to 1, then for that point, you just need to find y by putting that x equal to 1 in this equation. So when we put x equal to 1 in the given equation, we will have 1 plus y square minus 2. So 1 minus 2 is going to make it minus 1. Plus 1 will make it 0. So we have y square minus 4y equal to 0. So the value of y will either be equal to 4. Y will either be equal to 0 or y will be equal to 4. So the 2 points are 1, 0 and they are 1, 4, and we need the equation of tangent at both these points. Because the slope of tangent is equal to 0, we will say that the line is going to be horizontal, and for any horizontal line, if you consider the xy coordinate system, any horizontal line is going to be perpendicular to y, and that is why the equation for that line will be y equal to constant. So for a line which passes through 1, 0, the equation of the tangent here will be y equal to 0. And for this line, because it passes through 1, 4, and the equation is of the type y equal to constant. So y equal to constant passing through 1, 4, the equation will be y equal to 4. Okay, so these are the equations of your tangents for the fourth question, and with that we go ahead with the fifth one. Find the equations of normals to this curve which are parallel to this line. Okay, so for this line, for this line, the slope of normal will be y equal to minus x by 3 plus 4 by 3. So the slope of normal is minus 1 by 3, and that tells me that the slope of tangent, that is the value of derivative dy by dx, is going to be equal to 3. So we take a derivative here for this given curve, and that will give us 6x minus 2y dy by dx equal to 0. So we have dy by dx, and that will be equal to 6x upon 2y, which is 3x upon y, and we are putting dy by dx as 3. So you put a 3 here, and one thing to note down over here is that you can just not put dy by dx as 3 without putting the coordinates of the point. So we will put the coordinates of the point here as x1 and y1, and then we will go ahead in this question. So for the required points, we have 3 gets cancelled, and we have x1 is equal to y1. So for the required point, if x1 is equal to y1 and also the point lies on this curve, so on this curve we are going to put x1 equal to y1. So that will give us 3x1 square minus x1 square equal to 8. That makes it 2x1 square equal to 8. So x1 square will be 4, and x1 is going to be equal to plus or minus 2. So when x1 will be equal to 2, y1 will be 2, and when x1 is minus 2, y1 will also be minus 2. So the required points are 2, 2 and minus 2, minus 2. Now we don't really require points, we require the equations of normals at those points. So the equations of normals are going to be it's x minus 2, it's y minus 2 equal to, the slope of tangent is 3, so the slope of normal will be minus 1 upon 3. So minus 1 upon 3 into x minus 2, or it will be y plus 2 equal to, the slope of normal remains the same, that is minus 1 by 3 into x plus 2. So these are the normals at, this is the normal at 2, 2, and this is the normal at minus 2, minus 2. Well, I hope all of you understand that the equations have been written in the slope point form. The normal is passing through this point, and that is why we are writing the equation as y minus y1 equal to slope into x minus x1, and similarly we have written this equation also. We go ahead with the sixth question, where they have said that this line touches the curve at the point 2, 3, so find a and b. If the line is touching the curve at 2, 3, that means 2, 3 lies on the curve, and it will satisfy the equation. So we will have 9 is equals to 8a plus b. Let's mark that as equation 1. And if this line is a tangent to this curve, then the slope of this line is going to be 4. So dy by dx will be 4 for this curve at the point 2, 3. So if we take a derivative, we have 2y dy by dx. That will be 3ax square. And like we said that the value of dy by dx will be 4 at the point 2, 3, that is at the point where x will be 2 and y will be 3. So when we put in these values, we have 2 into 3 into 4, which is 24, equals to 3a into 4. So 4 into 3 will be 12, that cancels off 24 and gives you the value of a as 2. So a will be equal to 2, and when you put that a equal to 2 in the equation here, you have b is equals to minus 7. And yeah, that's how we are answering the sixth question. With that, we go ahead with the seventh one. As compared to whatever answer they have given behind the textbook, the question here should have been 6y equal to x cube plus 2, and then the answer is going to match. So for solving this sum, we continue with considering the question as 6y as x cube plus 2. So particle is moving along this curve. Find the points on the curve at which the y coordinate is changing 8 times as fast as the x coordinate. So let us say that the x and y coordinates are changing with respect to time. So dy by dt is going to be, the rate of change of y coordinate will be dy by dt, and that will be changing 8 times as fast as the x coordinate, and the rate of change of x coordinate will be dx by dt. So dy by dt is 8 times dx by dt, that is what they have said in the question. If you take the dx by dt on the left, you will have dy by dt upon dx by dt, and dy by dt upon dx by dt, you can say that this is the same as dy by dx. So they have given us in the question that dy by dx will be equal to 8, and if dy by dx will be equal to 8, we need to incorporate that condition in the equation that they have given. So in the equation, let's take a derivative. So we have 6 times dy by dx is equals to 3x square, and when you put dy by dx as 8, you have 6 into 8, which is 48, divided by 3, so you have x square equal to 16. So the value of x will be equal to plus or minus 4. So the required points are going to have the x coordinates as either plus 4 or minus 4. And if I take x as plus 4, I have 64 plus 2, which is 66, divided by 6, which will be 11. So the first point will be 4 comma 11, or if I take x as minus 4, then taking x as minus 4 will give us a minus 64 here, plus 2 will give us minus 62 divided by 6, so that will be minus 62 upon 6, that will be minus 31 upon 3. And yeah, that's how we are answering the 7th question. These are our required points on the curve that is given to us. The 8th one, a spherical soap bubble is expanding so that the radius is increasing at the rate of 0.02 centimeter per second. So they have told us that dr by dt, the rate of increase of radius is 0.02. We are taking a derivative with respect to time because the radius is increasing with time. It is increasing by 0.02 centimeters in every 1 second. So derivative of radius with respect to time, that is the rate of increase of radius, is 0.02. At what rate is the surface area increasing when the radius will be this? So the surface area is given by, it's a sphere, right? Yeah, so the surface area will be 4 pi r square. So rate of increase of surface area, which is dA by dt, that will be 4 pi is a constant that comes out. The derivative of r square will be 2r into dr by dt. Okay, so if we need dA by dt, we have 4 pi into 2 times r, the radius is 5. So 2 into 5, that will make it 10 into dr by dt, and that is going to be 0.02. Yeah, so that's the final answer, and we have 10 into 0.02, that will be 0.2. 0.2 into 4, that will be 0.8, and dA by dt is going to be equal to 0.8 pi. And because this is rate of change of area, we need to write it as unit of area, which is centimeter square in this case, per second. So the rate of change of surface area will be 0.8 centimeter square per second. And with that, we go ahead with our 9th question. The surface area of a spherical balloon is increasing at this rate. So we have been given dA by dt, and the value for that will be 2 centimeter square per second. Okay. At what rate the volume of the balloon is increasing when the radius is going to be 6 centimeters? They are asking us dV by dt. Let's first work out this entire condition. dA by dt is 2. So d by dt of the area of a spherical balloon, that will be 4 pi r square, and that has been given to us as 2. The derivative of this, right? So 4 pi is a constant, it comes out of the derivative, and the derivative of r square, that will be 2r into dr by dt. This will be equal to 2. They have said that we need something when the radius will be 6. So when the radius will be 6, let's put r as 6 here. So we have dr by dt as, this 2 gets cancelled with the 2 here. 6 into 4 pi, that will be 24 pi, and dr by dt will be 1 upon 24 pi. So we have dr by dt equals to 1 upon 24 pi, and we will be using this condition to answer the question that they are asking us. We need the rate at which the volume of balloon is increasing, right? So volume of the balloon will be volume of sphere, which is 4 by 3 pi r cube. The rate of increase of volume, that will be dV by dt. 4 by 3 is a constant, it comes out. Pi is also a constant. The derivative of 3r cube will be 3r square and dr by dt. So the rate of increase of volume, that will be 3 gets cancelled here and here. 4 into pi into r square. R is 6. R square will be 36. So we have 36. So 4 pi into 36 into dr by dt is 1 upon 24 pi. So we have upon 24 pi. This 4. Pi and pi get cancelled. 4 cancels of 24 giving you a 6, and 6 gets cancelled with 36 giving you a 6. So dV by dt finally is 6, and because it is volume per unit time, the unit will be centimeter cube per second. So the rate at which volume is increasing that is what they have asked, right? At what rate is the volume increasing? So the rate at which the volume of the balloon is increasing, that rate is 6 centimeter cube per second. Let's go ahead with the 10th question, and they are asking us, if each side of an equilateral triangle increases at this rate, okay, so this is the rate of increase of side of an equilateral triangle. Let us say that the length of side is given by L, and they have told us that dl by dt is equal to root 2. Find the rate of increase of its area when the length of side is 3 centimeters. See, for an equilateral triangle, the area is given by root 3 by 4 L square. So you need the rate at which the area is increasing. So area is increasing at the rate of increase of area will be dA by dt. So when you take a derivative of this, that will be root 3 by 4 into the derivative of L square, that is 2L into dl by dt. So this dA by dt, that will be root 3 by 4 into 2L, that will be 2 into 3, which is 6, into dl by dt, and that is going to be equal to root 2. So we have 4 and 6 getting cancelled, so we have a 3 here and we have a 2 here. Root 2 can also get cancelled here, and we'll have a root 2 here. So this will be 3 root 3 divided by root 2. And yeah, that's the rate of increase of surface area. We need to write proper units. So because it is surface area, we need to say centimeter square per second. So the surface area is increasing at the rate of 3 root 3 divided by root 2 centimeter square per second. That's the answer for your 10th sum, and we go ahead with the 11th one. The volume of a sphere increases at a rate of 20 centimeter cube per second. So what they have given us is dV by dt, which is 20, and the volume of a sphere, right? So we can write V as 4 by 3 pi r cube equals to 20. So 4 by 3 pi comes out common, and then you will have 3r square dr by dt. This should be equal to 20, and find the rate of change of its surface area, that is find dA by dt when the radius will be 5. So when we put radius as 5 here, this will be 3 into 25, which is 75. Actually we had 3 into r square, right? So this 3 gets cancelled with this, and we are only left with r square, which is going to be equal to 25 in this case, and 4 into 25 is going to become 100. So that 100 pi goes on the right hand side, and on the right hand side we will have 20 upon 100 pi, that will be 1 upon 5 pi, and this is the final value of dr by dt. We need the rate of change of surface area, that is we need dA by dt. So the area of the balloon will be 4 pi r square, and dA by dt will be 4 pi into the derivative of r square, which is 2r, into dr by dt. So this is going to become 4 into 2, which is 8, into pi. The radius is already given to us as 5. So 8 pi into 5, making it 40 pi, multiplied by dr by dt, which is 1 upon 5 pi. So this value becomes 8, and dA by dt, right? So 8 centimeter square per second. And yeah, that's how we are answering the 11th question. With that, we go ahead with the 12th one. The edge of a cube is decreasing at so and so rate. Okay, so let us say that the edge of cube is L. So we are given dL by dt. Because it is decreasing, we will prefer to write it as minus 0.6 centimeter per second. Had it been increasing, we would have taken it as positive. Because it is decreasing, we are taking it as negative. Find the rate at which the volume is decreasing when the edge of cube is 2 centimeters. So the volume of a cube is given by L cube, dV by dt. The rate of change of volume is what they are asking, right? Yeah. So dV by dt will be 3L square dL by dt. So 3L square. They are asking us the rate of change of volume when the edge of cube is 2 centimeters, that is L will be 2. So when we put L as 2, we have 3 into 2 square, which is equal to 3 into 4 into dL by dt, which is already minus 0.6. So when we evaluate this, we have 12 into minus 0.6, that is 7.2, and with a negative sign, dV by dt is going to be equal to minus 7.2, and because it is volume per unit time, this will be centimeter cube per second. So the rate at which volume is decreasing is going to be minus 7.2 centimeter cube per second at a time when the edge length is 2 centimeters. We continue with the next question. A man of height 2 meters is walking at a uniform speed away from a lamp post. So let's draw that figure. So let's say this is the lamp post, and the man is right here. A man of height 2 meters. So let's call this 2. This is the man. Okay, so let's call AB. Let's call the man as AB, whose height is 2 meters, and he's walking at a uniform speed. So if I say this part is X, let's call this C, let's call it D, and let's call it E. So let's call this X and let's call this Y. He is walking at a speed of 6 kilometers per hour. So we are given dx by dt will be 6 kilometers per hour. Be very careful with the units, okay? Kilometers per hour and meters. I don't know if it will be used anywhere or no, but we need to be careful about it. The lamppost is 6 meters high. So this is the lamppost D, which is 6 meters high. Find the rate at which the length of the shadow is increasing. So, okay, I'm so sorry. It's not dx by dt, which is 6. It's dy by dt that will be 6, because when the man is moving away from the lamppost, it is y that is increasing at a rate of 6 kilometers per hour. So dy by dt has been given to us as 6. The length of shadow, the shadow will be the part AC. Length of shadow means x, and they are asking us the rate at which the length of shadow means the rate at which x will increase is what they are asking us. So we have to find dx by dt in this particular question. So by the theorem on similar triangles, we can say that the length of AC upon AB that will be the cell that will be the length of DC upon DE. So AC upon AB, that will be x upon 2. That should be equal to DC, which is x plus y, divided by DE, which is equal to 6. So you can cancel off this 2 here with the 6 here, and that's going to give you a 3 here. Take that 3 on the left, you have a 3x equal to x plus y. Take that x on the left, you have 2x is equals to y. And now take a derivative. So you have 2 dx by dt is equals to dy by dt. And when that 2 goes on the left, you have dx by dt as dy by, it's a dt here. Okay, so dy by dt into 1 upon 2 is dx by dt. Dy by dt is 6. So 6 into 1 upon 2, which is 3, is going to be the final answer. So the rate at which the length of shadow is going to be increasing is 3 kilometers per hour. Okay, so that's how we are answering the 13th question, and with that we go ahead with the 14th one. Man of height 1.5 meters is walking towards a lamp post. Okay, so again the same question, but this time the man is moving towards the lamp post. So let's call it A, B and C. This time the lamp post is AB, and let us say that the man is DE. So the man of height 1.5 meters walking towards a lamp post 4.5 meters high. Okay, he is walking at a rate of 3.4 meter per second. So let's call it X this time, and let's call this Y. So it's this distance which is decreasing at a rate of 3 by 4 meter per second. So we have been given dx by dt this time, which is 3 by 4 meter per second. Find the rate at which the shadow is shortening. So the shadow is only and only the part Y. So Y is going to shorten as the man moves towards the lamp post. So they are asking us the rate at which Y will be shortening, that is the rate at which Y will be decreasing, that is they are asking us dy by dt, and solution remains the same. By similar triangles we can say that EC upon 1.5, so EC upon 1.5, that will be CB upon 4.5. So CB is going to be x plus y upon 4.5, and EC also is going to be written in terms of y only. So here you have a y. This 1.5 gets cancelled with the 4.5 you have here, giving you a 3 here. That 3 goes on the left, becomes 3y, and this y goes on the left, making it 2y. So we have 2y is equals to x, and when we take a derivative, we have 2y dy by dt equals to dx by dt. That 2 can go on the right hand side, and you will have dy by dt as dx by dt into half, so that dx by dt is 3 by 4. So dy by dt is going to be 3 upon 8, and the unit meter per second. That's how we have answered the first question, and we now need to answer the second question, that is the tip of the shadow is moving. So the tip of the shadow means the point C, and the rate at which point C is moving. So you will calculate the rate of movement of C with respect to the position of the lamp post. So with position of the lamp post, with respect to the position of the lamp post, the distance of C from the lamp post is going to be x plus y. So we need to see that at what rate x plus y is going to change. So let us say that x plus y is another variable which is z. So let that z be x plus y, and we have to find that at what rate this z is changing. So we are finding dz by dt. So the rate at which z, that is the tip of the shadow, will be moving, that rate will be dz by dt, and that will be dx by dt plus dy by dt, because we just took a derivative in this equation. Okay, so dx by dt, that is 3 by 4, and dy by dt, that is 3 upon 8. So 3 by 4 plus 3 by 8, that is 6 upon 8 plus 3 upon 8, which is equal to 9 upon 8. So dz by dt will be 9 upon 8, and the appropriate unit there, which is meter per second. So the answer for the second question is 9 by 8 meter per second. With that we go ahead with the 15th one. A ladder 10 meter long is leaning against a vertical wall. So that's the vertical wall, that's the ground, and a ladder is here, which is 10 meters long, is leaning against a vertical wall. If the bottom of the ladder is pulled horizontally away from the wall at a rate of 1.2 meter per second, so let us say that this length is x, and let us say that this length is y. So if you're pulling this end at some speed, it basically means that x is going to increase at that particular speed. So the rate of increase of x, which is dx by dt, that will be increasing at 1.2 meter per second. And find how fast the top of the ladder is sliding down when the bottom is 6 meters away from the wall. So they are asking us to find the rate at which this is coming down this is coming down, that is the rate at which y will be decreasing. So they are asking us dy by dt, and they are asking us dy by dt specifically at a point when the bottom is 6 meters away from the wall. So 6 meters away means the value of x is going to be 6. When x will be 6, we need to find dy by dt. So apply the Pythagoras theorem and you have x square plus y square equal to 10 square, that is 100. X square plus y square will be 100, and then you take a derivative, so you have 2x plus 2y dy by dx, or you take a derivative with respect to time and you have 2x dx by dt, plus you have 2y dy by dt equal to 0. You can take a 2 common, and when you take it on the left hand side, that 2 gets cancelled, leaving you with x dx by dt plus y dy by dt equal to 0. The value of x has already been given to you as 6. So you have 6 into dx by dt. Dx by dt is 1.2 plus the value of y that can be calculated again from the Pythagoras theorem. So as per Pythagoras theorem, this square plus this square should be equal to the square of this. So we have 36 plus y square is equals to 100. So y square will be 64 and y will be equal to 8. So you put y as 8 when x will be 6. So plus 8 into dy by dt, and this will be equal to 0. So we have dy by dt as 6 into 1.2, which is 7.2, goes on the right, that becomes minus 7.2 divided by 8, so this will be 0.9. So we have minus 0.9 meter per second as dy by dt, and yeah, that's the rate at which the top of the ladder is going to keep sliding down. And yeah, that's how we are answering the 15th question. Let's take one last question in this video. So we have, if water is poured into an inverted hollow cone whose semi-vertical angle is 30 degrees. So let's say this is the cone and the semi-vertical angle here is 30 degrees, and you're pouring water into it so that its depth measured along the axis increases at 1 centimeter per second. So let us say that this is the water level at any given point of time. This is the radius of the water level and this is the height of water level. The height of water level is increasing at 1 centimeter per second. So they are telling us that dh by dt is 1 centimeter per second. Let's skip the units for now, and dh by dt we know it is equal to 1. Find the rate at which the volume of water is increasing when the depth is 2 centimeters. So they are telling us that find dv by dt when h will be equal to 2. So first of all, the volume of water is going to be given by 1 upon 3 pi r square h, because the water inside the cone is going to form a conical shape only. So the volume of water will be 1 upon 3 pi r square h. Now the problem is there is r also which is changing and h is also changing. So we cannot have two variables in the same equation while solving these kind of sums. We need to eliminate one of the variables. And because dh by dt is known, it is very clear that radius needs to be eliminated. The radius will be eliminated by the condition that they have mentioned over here. So because the semi-vertical angle is 30 degrees, we can say that tan 30 is going to be equal to r by h, and tan 30 is 1 by root 3. So we have h is equals to root 3r, or we can say that h by root 3 will be equal to r, and r square will now be written as h square upon 3. So when you do that, the expression for volume becomes 1 upon 3 pi, r square becomes h square upon 3 into h will give you h cube upon 3. That 3 upon 3 will make it 9. So we have 1 upon 9 pi h cube. And now you need dv by dt, right? So take a derivative. So you have dv by dt is equals to 1 upon 9 into pi into 3h square into dh by dt. This is going to become 1 upon 9. Okay, let's cancel off 3 and 9 here. So that's giving us pi by 3 into h square. The value of h they are saying is 2. So h square will be 4. And dh by dt is going to be 1. So the final answer is 4 pi by 3. And because it is volume with respect to time, this is centimeter cube per second. So dv by dt when h is going to be equal to 2 is going to be 4 pi by 3 centimeter cube per second. So yeah guys, I am done with whatever I had to discuss in this video, and I hope that the contents of this video have been somewhere helpful to you in your preparations. Do check out other videos in this playlist. Thank you for watching.